Welcome to Straightforward Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown spoilers and your WWE main event. And some news and birthdays. Undertaker made his first appearance on WWE main event live on Tuesday. Show aired on the WWE Network, but also showed on last night's WWE main event on the Ion Network. And at the usual time of 7 p.m. Central Time slot. Ryan Tester covered the show and posted the following that was on the show from Tuesday night. And Jim Ross has a new Ross Report podcast featuring fellow WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley. Steve Austin's new podcast featuring his answers to fan questions debuted on Tuesday. Soon to be Hall of Famer Amy Lita Dumas is the latest guest on Chris Jericho's podcast. The new 30 Years of WrestleMania podcast features Roddy Piper. Find all these interviews at podcastone.com. Sports Legacy Institute, led by former WWE wrestler Chris Nowinski, is holding a pair of upcoming fundraisers. A meeting of the minds takes place on April 9th in Pasadena, California, with host Thomas Hulick and Nowinski. The 4th annual Tom McHale Memorial event will be held on April 30th at the Franklin Square Conference and Banquet Center in Washington, D.C. Nowinski will appear, along with various sports legends. For more details on both events, visit sportslegacy.org. Evan Bourne, a.k.a. Matt Seidel, turned 31 years old. He was born March 19, 1983. He has not appeared on WWE TV since suffering a foot injury, and he's still recuperating from that injury from a car accident on March 12, 2012. Retired pro wrestler Rick the Bottle Martel, a.k.a. Richard Vignault, turned 58 years old. He was born March 18, 1956. In addition to his WWE run, Martel also had a 595-day run as the AWA champion. TNA wrestler Ethan Carter III, a.k.a. Michael Hutter, turned 31 years old. He was born March 18, 1993. He wrestled as Derek Bateman in WWE for several years before becoming the storyline nephew of Dixie Carter in TNA. The EC3 character works, but I think the signing of Hutter has been a good one for TNA. Chikara Booker Mike Quackenbush, former wrestler, also his real name Michael Spillane, turned 38 years old. He was born March 18, 1976. Shane Douglas and former TNA personality SoCal Val are advertised for the Horror Hound event on April 21st in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies movie booth. Kurt Angle was advertised for the event at one time, but was replaced in the advertising by Val. For more info on the show, click on the link. Or you can go to facebook.com. Groups. The advertised dark match from the SmackDown taping was Daniel Bryan, John Cena, and Sheamus versus Bray Wyatt, Kane, and Alberto Del Rio in 6-man tag action. At one point, there were plans for Hulk Hogan to be at Monday's Raw from Brooklyn, but WWE hadn't confirmed it. For the upcoming Raw, one source said he's still scheduled. Another one said he's planning on releasing a lot more Hogan merchandise soon as well. Former WCW announcer Tony Schiavone was at the WWE headquarters of Stamford, Connecticut a few weeks back and likely to be interviewed for a future network and DVD project. So he's coming back home to WWE. Former WWE star Ted DiBiase Jr. featured on the cover of a new Beacon magazine. I'll post a photo at the end of the video. He's the alumni magazine for Mississippi College, I believe. As noted in an interview yesterday, Rey Mysterio said he plans on sticking around with WWE and re-signing a new deal when his current contract expires real soon. And also noted Rey has been added to WWE Studios' Flintstones movie that comes out in time for WrestleMania 31 next year. A source reported on Tuesday morning that Rey's interview came out that at least in WWE's eyes, Rey was sticking around for at least another year because of the addition to the Flintstones movie. WWE was facing an issue with CM Punk being tied to a lot of the licensing and future projects, specifically of the Flintstones movie. Word from someone working with WWE Studios, Flintstones movie, that comes out in 2015, reported that the script is being rewritten for another superstar replacing Punk. And that's more than likely Rey Mysterio, as Rey has indeed been added to the movie. WWE is really trying to distance themselves from CM Punk and not use any Punk material, as seen with them removing him from WrestleMania recap video packages and other media. Regarding the 24 episodes of Slam City that are completed, WWE couldn't take Punk's character out because they've been done for months, but they will be downplaying his involvement. They might even do a storyline in the next season, killing his character off or something. The Camp WWE adult cartoon that is expected to hit the WWE network this year will also likely be redone now that Punk has left the company. Again, that's WWE Slam City. Word last month that WWE was planning on downplaying Rey on TV until he re-signed or informed them that he was leaving. The new deal is expected to be signed real soon, and Rey will be staying with WWE. The whereabouts of Ezekiel Jackson is an update, and it has a new blog on bodyspartan.com about his road to recovery from a torn quadricep. I'll post a link here for that for everybody to see, bodyspartan.com. Also, if you're not familiar with that, there's some other people that are involved with that, like, for instance, E.C. Carter III and a few others. Kelly Kelly, a.k.a. real name Barbie Blank, rumored for a new movie role. Her role part name is Rachel. The movie is called Angel Investors. Synopsis for the movie: two Ivy Leaguers pitch their high-tech startup to a group of call girls. The call girls negotiate stock options in the company and have dreams of taking it public. The director of the film and writer, Daryl DaVinci Hubbard, and rumored cast can be viewed at this link. I'll post right there for you. WWE acknowledged on NXT that Paige got her Scorpion crosslock submission from former women's champion Bull Nakano. Paige noted on Twitter a few months back that she was studying a Nakano versus Alundra Blaze match. For those that don't remember, Alundra Blaze in this was formerly known as Medusa Massetti. Mid-Atlantic wrestler Zane Dawson will be attending this month's WWE tryouts in Orlando at the Performance Center. He was compared to Luke Harper, but not quite as big, but more agile. Lisa Marone's Square Circle Restaurant in Chicago will be holding a special WrestleMania 30 party. The cost of the event is $25, including a seat to watch the pay-per-view in the restaurant. No, it's for standing. A meet and greet with Jillian Hall, a commemorative t-shirt, one bottle of JR's barbecue sauce, and a free snow cone. Tickets are available at the Square Circle. It sounds like WWE is planning on keeping the eye patch on Naomi for some time. She noted on Twitter that she currently has 3 different patches, but WWE seamstress Sandra Gray is working on several new patches for her to wear, probably to match her gimmick. As noted, the patch is likely for her injury storyline on Total Divas, as she filmed WWE's Fitness DVD with Stephanie McMahon last week and did not wear a patch. WWE announced the kickoff pre-show for WrestleMania 30 will be 2 hours. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the first hour will feature a panel with current superstars and legends, then interviews and more, and it will air on WWE.com for the first hour. The second hour will go to the network. So we've got, all of them will be on the first hour: the app, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google, and Feed. Feed. I've never heard of Feed that way. Second hour will begin at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the WWE Network with a panel, and then interviews and a match. Rumors are that it will be downplayed as the 30-man invitational Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That will be the match. And of course, more interviews on that. And then WrestleMania kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. Central Time. Hambone sent word that only two of the police officers on Monday's Raw from Booker T's Reality Wrestling promotion The others were from NWA's Outlaw Wrestling. One of the officers was Weezy Woo, the Outlaw Junior Heavyweight Champion. Daniel Bryan did not work the SmackDown tapings for this week, likely to sell the shoulder injury from Raw, and is also on the WWE.com website and advertised for the weekend live events and matches against Kane. Other wrestling news, Karen Jarrett will be working as a special referee for a ladies Indian strap match for the IWA Mid-South promotion at their Thunder After Thunder event on April 13th. Jeff Jarrett will also be wrestling that night. That's double J, J-E, double F, J-A, double R-E, double T. As a reminder, the Bell Twins will be on the episode of Psych on the USA Network. I haven't watched it myself. I'm waiting to tune. And after that, there's only going to be one final episode. The conclusion to Psych. Referee Charles Robinson noted on Twitter that Mark Henry, who was the first ever Arnold Classic Strongman winner, is now on the Muscle and Fitness Advisory Board. Hulk Hogan teased getting physical at WrestleMania 30 with a tweet yesterday. There should be a day off. Gonna blow out chest and back jack. Need to be ready in case it gets out of hand at WrestleMania 30, brother. Double H. As noted, former WCW announcer Tony Schiavone was at the WWE headquarters recently, and another update, likely to film the footage for the DVD project and the WWE Network regarding a potential return to WWE commentary. Schiavone said on Twitter that his voice probably couldn't handle it these days. He said it was a mistake leaving WWE in 1990, and he quit wrestling announcing because WWE didn't want him when they bought WCW. Schiavone now does play-by-play work for the minor league Gwinnett Braves baseball team and is the producer for the Georgia Bulldog radio network. TMZ reports that a signed Hulk Hogan boot was stolen from Hulk Hogan's beach shop in Clearwater, Florida. Hogan told the website that his staff discovered the piece of memorabilia was stolen and saw the crime on surveillance tape 3 days later, as it was stolen on Sunday with a group of 4 people. Women coming into the shop and talked to the manager before one of them distracted him, and the other stole the boot. And I believe the boot was valued at $5,500. Hogan said he was planning on filing a police report. He believed the girls were in town for spring break because they showed the manager Michigan state IDs. Clearwater police told the TMZ that they are investigating the crime and believe that the boot was taken by a heavyset white female in her 50s. Couldn't anybody catch her? Police say that the girls may have distracted the manager by knocking over a statue of Hogan outside the door to create the diversion. Scottie Riggs has another interview with Undisputed Wrestling Show, hosted by Rick Craig, Zane Dawson, and William Huckabee. Available at Facebook.com, The Undisputed Wrestling Show. And he's commenting on John Cena. Every single match is the same, and it is sickening. 5 simple moves every match. That's calling it the 5 moves of doom. When it is time for Cena's comeback, it's the same moves. Boom, boom, boom. That does not suspend any disbelief. That is what wrestlers are supposed to do. Have the craft to do it anywhere in a match, and finish can come up. Cena has mixed himself with the Super Cena thing, which is what Vince McMahon has a hard on for. He is a good guy that's so good that is so sickening. That is why so many people don't like him. Cena is WWE's cash cow. When I am watching Cena, I feel like I am watching a TV commercial. Everything he is doing, he is selling cereal, he is selling t-shirts, he is selling something in everything he does. And he comments on Randy Orton. Randy Orton just can't seem to find something that fits. He's got all the tools in the world and every opportunity, but he is not allowed to be himself. Then he comments on the difference between WWE and WCW. WWE is a TV show about wrestling. WCW in their prime was a TV show that happened to have wrestling on it. And then he comments on the WWE Network. I'm one of those guys that I rarely ever watch my old matches. The only thing I think would be really good about WWE Network is finding stuff that fans don't know that used to be wrestling like is different than what WWE is giving them now. If WWE gives them what USWA used to be, what World Class used to be, what Florida Championship Wrestling was, if what wrestling really was in the 70s and 80s, I think it would be good because it will teach fans what wrestling was. It could hurt them, WWE, because fans can say, I like wrestling, not sports entertainment stuff. And then he comments on Hulk Hogan returning to WWE. Hulk Hogan, even at his age, still has the it factor. The crowd loves the nostalgia that he brings. It's the same old thing over and over again, but the fans still dig it. It still captures their childhood imagination. And then he comments on recently catching up with Dennis Rodman. He is the most personable, charming person that you will ever meet. When Dennis Rodman walked into the bar, he said, Riggs, I didn't know you had a beard. For him to remember me was a really cool moment. It was a really good time. And then Scotty comments on Perry Saturn. Perry Saturn is the only guy I know who is a Ranger that has 103 successful jumps out of a perfectly good airplane and wear a dress in the ring. And then he comments on almost signing with WWF instead of WCW. I was being groomed as a protege of Lex Luger in the WWF. Little did we know that on the first Nitro, Luger has crossed over to WCW. If I had listened to Jerry Lawler and stayed on as Lex's protege, Lex wouldn't have been there anyway. I would have been lost. And then he comments on American Male's theme song. The great thing about that song is the song was wacky as it is. It still stands alone today. Fans still remember that song. And that's about all he said about in his interview. Press of Atlantic City.com recently spoke with Roman Reigns to promote Saturday's WWE live event in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and here are the highlights. He was asked how did the Shield become main event players so quickly after debuting in the WWE 2 years ago. He answered, we brought in an insane work ethic with us. We all trained down a developmental system together, so the powers that be knew what kind of competitors that they were bringing up. If there's something we want or we need, we'll fight for it. And I think that's pretty apparent what we've done in the first couple of years. Then he was asked about his thoughts on the recent WWE return of Hulk Hogan, who will host WrestleMania 30. He's such a big name, and he's a legend. He was part of the process that laid down the foundation for what we have now. To be such a huge part of our history, it's important that he's a part of our present and part of our future. Then he was asked about the atmosphere of Road to WrestleMania event like. We're in the home stretch of WrestleMania now, so there's no time for games. There's no playing around. Everyone's trying to get themselves just completely polished before the biggest sports entertainment shows on earth. So everybody is going to bring their A game. Everybody wants to sharpen and be perfect set for Mania. We're coming in there to wreck shop, tear it down, and where it starts is for these live crowds on these WWE live events. There's no days off for a WWE superstar, especially once you get into the home stretch of WrestleMania. And what everybody's been waiting for, SmackDown TV taping. And what? I did not get the other. Okay. Well, Kane started off the show, did a promo about how Daniel Bryan is garbage and how the Authority is better than everyone. Then the boos, you sold out. Chance started. He then read a letter from Triple H that explained how he and Stephanie regret what happened on Raw, but Bryan pushed them to that point. Match number 1, Fernando with Diego defeated Fandango with some array. The crowd didn't even seem to care. Fernando won with a roll up. It's a shame these guys are in the spot that they're in because they have so much talent. Match number 2, Dolph Ziggler defeated Damien Sandow. Ziggler got a nice pop. Yeah, we have seen this match before a few times. Then we've seen who win the title. But I'll never get tired of seeing these two wrestle. Sandow got more offense, but Ziggler beat him with his famouser. The Wyatt family had an on-screen promo about John Cena being scared. Not sure if that will be making it on TV, but the crowd sure did pay close attention to it. Match number 3, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins with Roman Reigns versus the Ryback, that's Ryback and Kurt Axel, versus the Real Americans with Zeb Coulter versus 3MB, Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre with Heath Slater in a number 1 contenders match for a shot at the WWE Tag Team Championship. Well, they did it in a disqualification. The match was pretty good until there was a disqualification when Kane came out and started to attack Reigns, but I'm not sure if that caused the DQ. Reigns and Kane fought up the ramp with the New Age Outlaws came out to a nice spot and they started to attack Reigns. So I guess their road dogs clear. He can come back. While that was happening, Cesaro and Ryback performed their finishers on the other Shield members, and Reigns finally got back into the ring, and Kane gave him a choke slam, and then left the ring with the Outlaws. So I guess we'll see the Shield versus Kane and the New Age Outlaws. Then they set up Miz TV, and the guest was Big Show. They bickered at each other, and then Miz brought out Titus O'Neil, Kofi, ADR, Cody, Big E, Henry, Goldust, then Sheamus. And I'm pretty sure that they are adding their names into the Battle Royal. Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Sheamus said something on the mic and said that they should beat up on Show, which resulted in a brawl between all men. The last 2 men in the ring were Sheamus and Show. Miz tried to help get Show out of the ring, but Show threw them both out. Match number 4, Alberto Del Rio defeated Big E in a non-title match. And the Bella Twins defeated Natalya and Summer Rae. There was a backstage promo with all the heels involved in the tag team match. Kane gave the Real Americans and Ryback and Axel tag title matches at WrestleMania. And put all members of 3MB in the Battle Royal. There was a brief Alexander Rusev promo with Lana. Match number 6, probably your main event. John Cena defeated Luke Harper with Bray Wyatt and they recorded. Cena and Harper had a short match with a few good spots. The crowd was really into it with back and forth chants for Cena. Cena sucks. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. Yada, 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 yada. Cena ended up winning with attitude adjustment and then ran out of the ring while the other Wyatts ran in. Afterwards, Cena cut a promo saying that there was another wrestler that had a similar interest to the Wyatt family and then said that they could rest in peace. Undertaker came out. Taker and Cena cleaned house, causing Bray to leave the ring. Cena and Taker hit their finishers on Rowan and Harper to finish the show. Wow, the reporter was excited to see Daniel Bryan since he was advertised for a dark match, but it was still a good show. The arena was probably 85% full, but the Houston audience was still loud, as it usually is, and Lillian Garcia announced that WWE will be back on July 28th for Raw, and the pre-sale password is Houston. Second report, thanks to Johnny Rosado at the WWE SmackDown taping in Houston, and sent the following report. Broadcast team of Michael Cole and JBL make their entrances. Kane entered the ring. They showed footage from the attack on Daniel Bryan by Triple H on Raw and the Authority. And Kane talked down about the Yes Movement. And Kane said the Yes Movement is not bigger than the Authority. Kane read a letter written by Triple H in which Triple H apologized for his actions on Monday. Match number 1, Fernando defeated Fandango. Lots of Ole pops for Fernando. Fernando won, and the fans chanted Ole. Dolph Ziggler defeated Damien Sandow. Ziggler won with his famouser. I believe this is a real brief one. I'll do an online search for your WWE main event. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins with Roman Reigns defeated Ryback, the Real Americans, and Jinder Mahal. There was 3MB in a number 1 contenders match for a shot at the WWE Tag Team Championship, and as it ended in a DQ. That was misprinted there. They did not mention whether it was a title match would be at WrestleMania. The disqualification occurred when Kane attacked Roman Reigns. Then Ryback and the New Age Outlaws and the Real Americans and Kane then attacked and destroyed the Shield. Then there was a Miz TV segment. They recapped the attack on the Shield. Miz announced that he will be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Big Show entered the ring and said that he always been compared to Andre. Miz said Big Show has lost at WrestleMania more times than anyone. And then Titus O'Neil, Kofi Kingston, Alberto Del Rio, Big E, Cody Rhodes, Mark Henry, Goldust, and Sheamus entered the ring. All superstars attacked Big Show, and many Battle Royal broke out. Everyone was eliminated except Sheamus and Big Show. Miz came from behind and tried to eliminate Big Show and Sheamus, and didn't work. Miz couldn't lift Big Show, who eliminated Miz and then Sheamus. Alberto Del Rio defeated Big E in a non-title match. Del Rio won with a kick to the head. The Bellatrix defeated Natalya and Summer Rae as the Bellas won with Brie pinned Natalya. In a backstage segment, Kane granted Ryback and the Real Americans a WWE title shot. Alexander Rusev then cut a promo in Bulgarian as usual. John Cena defeated Luke Harper. Cena won with a attitude adjustment and then cut a promo on the Wyatt family. And then Cena said that the Wyatt entrance is like the Undertaker's. And Undertaker comes out to a big pop. Undertaker and John Cena cleared the ring. Cena and Undertaker grabbed Harper and Eric Rowan to perform their finishers at the same time. Choke slam, attitude adjustment, simultaneously to send the crowd home happy. And let me do the online results for the video for the results for main event. Alright, it started off from Houston, Texas with Tom Phillips and Byron Saxon. On commentary, we go right to the ring. Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus Jack Swagger and Cesaro. Out first came Cody Rhodes and then Goldust. Out next comes Zeb Colter with Cesaro and Swagger. But lots of back and forth quick tags to start. Cesaro and Swagger double team Cody. Swagger gets a 2 count and then a headlock. Cody nails a disaster kick on Swagger. Cesaro and Goldust all tagging at the same time. Goldust unloads with clotheslines and drop down right hand. Goldust mounts with right hands in the corner. Goldust with a roll up for a 2 count. Goldust sends Swagger to the floor and then Cesaro. Goldust leaps off the apron while Cody leaps off the top and they take the Real America down on the floor. Goldust bought Cesaro in for a 2 count. Cesaro caught Goldust in a backbreaker for another 2 count. We go to network commercials. Back from break as Swagger is back in control. He knocks Goldust out of the ring. Cesaro tags in and meets Goldust on the floor. Cesaro with a running forearm shot. Then ran over Goldust. Cesaro brought back in the ring for a 1 count. Cesaro gets a 2 count before choking him on the ropes. Goldust ends up coming back and hitting a big hurricanrana out of the corner. Cody rallies for a tag. Swagger tags in and stomps away on Goldust. Swagger goes for a Swagger bomb out of the corner and nails it. Cesaro tags in for a big stomp off Swagger's back. 2 count by Cesaro. Cesaro with a gut wrench suplex for a 2 count. Swagger tags back in and keeps Goldust grounded. Goldust comes back and goes to tag Cody, but Cody is down on the floor. Cesaro hits a big uppercut on Goldust and nails the Cesaro swing, but can't get the win. Cody finally gets the tag and unloads both on Swagger and Cesaro. Cody gets a double drop kick. Cody with a kick to the groin on Swagger. Cesaro stops the crossroads, but Goldust power slams Cesaro. Cody gets a boot and a moonsault on Swagger for a 2 count. Zeb then yells at Swagger to get up. Swagger blocks a disaster kick and turns it into a Patriot lock. Cesaro pulls the rope back as Cody can't get it. But Goldust stops him and Cody breaks the hold and hits crossroads on Swagger for the win. Then we get hyped for Slam City. And the Undertaker and Daniel Bryan's t-shirts. Cameron and Naomi versus Layla. Yeah, Layla does return on and tag teams with Alicia Fox. As I mentioned on the Raw video, Layla returned this past weekend at a house show. Live event. I think it was a Friday night show. Well, they go to the ring. Out comes Cameron and Naomi, the Funkadactyls. Layla and Alicia was out next, of course. Who else was out? Layla took advantage and got a 2 count. Layla showed off and got a drop kick in the back. Back and forth action. Cameron hits a clothesline for a 2. The match turns into Diva Chaos. Layla and Cameron end up on the floor. Naomi hits the rear view on Alicia. And then a split-legged moonsault. That's a sharp Starship Pain for the win. Yeah, that's a John Morrison's move. Winners, Cameron and Naomi the Funkadactyl. Then we get more hype for Arnold Schwarzenegger's return to Raw. They air a Raw rebound with a look at what happened with Daniel Bryan and Triple H from Raw. Big Show versus Titus O'Neil was up next, and we'll go right to the ring. Out first goes Big Show, and then we go to commercial. We'll come back, and out comes Titus O'Neil. Titus gets in Show's face to start the match. Titus mushes Show. Show shows him over the top rope and throws him into the barrier. Show with a big chop to the chest. Show brings it back in the ring. We get body shots into the corner. Show with another big chop to the chest. Titus ducks the clothesline and takes out Show's knee. Titus kicks away and keeps Show down. Titus keeps Show down until with a headlock. They both go down off of a slam, and Titus gets up first. Show runs up into a big boot, but grabs Titus for a choke slam. Titus blocks it and manages to hit a Clash of Titans on Show for a 2 count. Titus mocks Show and keeps beating on him. Titus with a big elbow drop and another 2 count. Back and forth at the end, but Show hits a knockout punch for the win. More network commercials, including John Cena versus Bray Wyatt promo with Eminem's Legacy. We'll get a look at the video on Undertaker Street with Paul Heyman aired on Raw. We go to ringside with Paul Heyman demanding that Lillian Garcia introduce him, and she does. Heyman takes the mic and enters the ring, introducing himself again. Heyman says he means no disrespect, and the live network stream cuts out. It comes back on, and Heyman is praising the streak. Yeah, I caught this part myself at the end of the WWE main event on last night's show. Heyman says Brock Lesnar wants to inform Taker tonight that the streak will come to an end at WrestleMania 30. The crowd boos him, and Heyman goes to leave the ring, and the bell tolls. And the lights go out, and Undertaker makes his entrance. First time ever on WWE main event. However, Taker doesn't come out. Instead, he appears behind Heyman, and the crowd pops. Lights come on, and Taker grabs Heyman by the throat. Taker says Heyman will walk out of here for one reason tonight, so he can tell Lesnar that when the Undertaker gets to New Orleans, he's going to slay the beast. Taker says once that's done, he's going to take Lesnar's corpse and throw it into the fiery pits of eternal hell. Taker asks Heyman if he understands. Taker says there's one more thing. If there's something about that message that Lesnar doesn't understand, Taker will be at Raw on Monday to hand deliver that message. Taker lets Heyman leave the ring while he still can, and then the main event ends going off the air with Taker going nuts as Heyman looks on fighting. And that concludes my SmackDown and the main event video for this week. And shortly after this will be your pictures of what I said earlier. Okay, thanks again. Peace out. God bless.